Okay, beer number 2, another one that you're going to hate, Laura, but I want you to do something for me with this one. I saw that you have 2 glasses in front of you. I want you to pour a little bit of this one and a little bit of the first one.
Okay.
Because they're both IPAs, just different styles of IPA, and I want you to notice the difference between the 2.
Okay, so you want me to compare them side by side. Which one is the second one?
Foggy Geezer.
Foggy Geezer, okay.
So, approaching the second reading, I had an idea for a pairing. So it starts off with, what was the last thing that one of the main characters ate? It was grilled cheese sandwiches and barbecue Fritos. And I was thinking, what would I pair to that? So I had a pairing all set to go, and I had actually put the beer in my basket at the store. And then I'm just looking through, like perusing the shelves, looking for something else. And I saw this beer and I was like, don't, I like this pairing. Why didn't I think of this? So the beer is from War Pigs and Three Floyds. It's called Foggy Geezer. The reason for this pairing will become apparent when Jeff reads the segment of the story. It is a hazy IPA. It is a New England style IPA, so it's significantly less bitterness and a huge pop of hop flavor and aroma, really tropical and citrus. This is beer I don't even like because I really don't like this style IPA. But
so I'm holding them up.
I'm going to pass up that pairing to this particular reading.
Okay, so I'm picking beer number 2 that you guarantee I'm going to hate, but you want me to compare it to beer number 1.
I want you to do a comparison and tell me what do you perceive as the difference.
Which one I hate the most?
Maybe, yeah.
Or which one okay. That's very sour. Okay. This was cruel.
But do you see the difference between the 2?
I'm defriending you on Facebook.
That's all right. I don't go to Facebook anymore, so.
This was a really hard day for me. Gonna have to go have, I don't know, a grasshopper or something more my speed.
There you go. Yeah, have a cocktail after.
All right, I totally will, except I have to go teach, so maybe I shouldn't hit the cocktails too hard.
Yeah, maybe I have to run a rehearsal this afternoon, so.
All right, so we're ready for reading number 2 from Lost and Found.
Okay, Lost and Found is the only book that I have out of my 6 that has nothing that's kind of like supernatural in it. It's just a pure mystery. It starts out at the beginning of the book with a Jewish man pre-World War II who is a German Jew who ends up in Dachau in a prison camp. When they release him, he has to leave the country. And so they put him on a ship, but the Jews are trying to save a lot of their relics and stuff. And so they pack away a lot of their art and so forth with him, and he sneaks it into the United States. And goes off to live in Michigan in a town called Frankenmuth, which is a really famous town in Michigan, pretty cool place, and a lot of cool history. So that was the main character in this book. His name is Blake. His grandpa is a character in this book, but the man that came across was Blake's great grandpa.
Okay.
So I did a little introduction to that historically, and there's a lot of history that ties into this book. And then Blake and his mother have to move into her grandfather's house, and he's pulled off his high school basketball team, moves into a new town, and moves into this house with his grandpa who has dementia now. And this is one of the first conversations that they have after he moved into the house. So 2 hours later, after eating 3 grilled cheese sandwiches and almost a full bag of barbecue Fritos, Blake had managed to arrange his things in his new bedroom where he collapsed onto the bed. Less than 24 hours before, he had his 11th ranked Clarkston basketball team. He led them to a come-from-behind victory over Bloomfield Hills. He lay on his back and shot a spinning shot over his head, letting it settle back into his shooting hand. The ball, signed by each of his teammates, was a parting gift from his coach. Blake was an honorable mention All-State player his junior year, yet apparently Frankenmuth's coach saw no reason to add Blake to his team to finish out his senior season. It looked as if Blake's basketball career had ended. In addition to being at a new school, not on the basketball team, his father was now deployed in Kuwait, and he had to help take care of a grandfather who couldn't remember to get dressed. It was going to be a horrible senior year. His bedroom door opened as another shot floated toward the ceiling and fell again perfectly into his right hand. Can we talk, Blake? His grandfather stood in the doorway, dressed in khakis, his face smooth from a shave and his gray hair combed into place. He didn't look like the lost man in the picture window any longer. Sure, Grandpa. At 65 years of age, Matthias Bloom had a full head of hair and a few wrinkles that simply made him look distinguished. But it wasn't his outward appearance that aged him. It was his mind. He'd been diagnosed with dementia stemming from two obvious causes. The first was concussions. In addition to being a boxer in his youth, he also had concussions from a tire hubcap to the cranium received while foolishly chasing a tornado, and from an imprudent head-first dive into a wading pool, which was generally explained as, in part, from the brain swelling caused by the wheel cover to his forehead. In addition, he'd had a minor stroke less than 2 years past that accelerated his symptoms. He looked coherent at the moment, however, so Blake sat up to give him his attention. Did you get enough to eat? Yes. Do you like your room okay? It's fine. Are you worried about your dad? A little. Do you know why your mother is treating me like a child? Well, I guess your memory isn't so good. What? That's preposterous. You forgot to put on your pants, Grandpa. I only wear pants when I need them, son. Like when I need to put things in my pockets, like litter. One should never litter and pockets prevent littering. Also, I think better with my legs spread out so air can get to my private parts. The family jewels need to breathe. Do you have any use for your pants right now? Not really. Then take them off. We need to talk. Seriously? Instead of answering, he stood up and yanked off his pants again. He nodded at Blake and raised an eyebrow to say, what are you waiting for? So Blake took his pants off too. Feels better, doesn't it? His grandpa asked. Uncomfortable, Blake shrugged his shoulders and ran a hand through his short brown hair. It was a little weird in his opinion. Kids these days, his grandpa continued, they know too much about nothing. What they need to know is numbers and history and puzzles and mystery. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Except my fingers are long, fellows. Throw me that ball. Blake shrugged and tossed to his grandfather, who caught it with one huge hand, palming it and faking a throw back while the ball stuck firmly in his grasp. You like poetry, Blake? Not really. Giovanni's pretty cool, I guess. Well, one of my favorite poets is Shel Silverstein. He continued. He's Jewish, you know, just like my father and my grandfather and grandmother and your mother and you. You didn't know that, did you? Well, you're only 1/8, an important number for you to remember. Silverstein had a poem that said you should listen to the don'ts, shouldn'ts, couldn'ts, impossibles, and never haves. And then he said you should never listen. You should listen even closer to me, because I say anything can happen, or anything can be. Not bad memory for an old guy who forgets to wash his hands after he wipes his butt, don't you think? Blake scrunched his face up in semi-disgust. His grandpa held Blake's basketball in those hands. Kidding, my boy, I'm not serious. I just wanted you to know you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. Like me. I wanted to write a poem too, so I did it. It goes like this. He tossed the ball back to Blake, and with a confused look on his face, he stared into space. He didn't say anything for several seconds. Oh yes, give me a minute. He bent over and retrieved his pants, pulling them onto his legs and over his hips. After he snapped them, forgetting all about the zipper, he patted his pants front and back before putting his hand in his front right pocket and removing a piece of paper. I love pockets, he said. Then he cleared his throat and began reading. I call this one literally. Cleared his throat. Rise and ascend the climbing tree. Come and ponder, thinking free. Notice the way the puzzle weaves. Connect branches up through the leaves. The crooks and knots of the climbing tree, sprouting nails as signs for thee. So come and think and know your history, the only way to solve the mystery. The king's star is what you'll see, and in the center is the key. Blake tilted his head as he looked at his grandpa, confusion in his face. I know, it's kind of cryptic, but it's the best I can do. My digits may remind me of that Longfellow poet, but my words are no Silverstein. Anyway, you can have it. It's a gift. First of 5, something a good numbers man won't forget. He patted his pockets again as if wondering what to do next. his fly wide open and his face one of confusion. He looked back to Blake and said, "What are you doing here again? And why are you sitting there in your underwear? You should put on some pants."